Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
My name is Terry Linch. I'm with Oregon Ecology. I found myself searching for a passageway one day. And that passageway leads right across the complete section of the Cascades, which I'm sitting in front of at the moment. On top of one peak. I want to make sure that everybody sees the type of things that we find in the process of research for ufology. I have located a couple that's sitting here on the top of Blind Peak. She's facing south. He's facing north.
The Middle, Cascadia Guides, a Ledesma production, in conjunction with Alien Strand Films.
Hi everyone, this is ASDP UFOologist Paul Welburn from North Yorkshire in the UK, and you're watching the Alien Strand podcast with your amazing host Donald Ledesma.
Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. It's going to be a great one today. I hope you guys missed us because we were out for at least 2 weeks. We get busy. Things happen, all the time, here at Les Productions and Alien Strand. We ASDP constantly going, man. And, we decided just to take a little bit of a break, so we can catch up to some of our work, and that's what happens, at times. But welcome to today's show. Today is going to be UAP Weekly number 4 with your host, me, Donald Ledesma, and Mr. Terry Linch, right? So, but before we go going, don't forget, catch us on 26, 27 platforms. We are on iHeartRadio, man. We are Ask Alexa. We are on Google Podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are all over the place. Why? Because everybody loves Alien Strand Podcast, man. They watch it in so many countries. We have doubled our numbers many times over, because people just like the stories and they like what we're about and they like the content that's coming out. So, if you guys are interested in our content, please join our Patreon site. If you can, go up there. It's only like $5 a month. We're going to get some new stuff coming in here to that platform. And that's going to be it's going to be podcasts and things that you're not going to be seeing on your regular Spotify or radio or even on your YouTube. This is going to be on it's a Patreon. It's its own social media, man. So just go ahead and download Patreon and you'll be able to watch special content from Alien Strand. Okay. Also, today, it's not going to be the Lear test, but we're going to be talking about UAPs, UFOs, actually, in the Hive. So we'll be talking about that tonight, and it's going to be number 4. So, but if you don't forget, catch this one, number 3. If you didn't see it, man, you have to check this one out. This is one of the best ones that we have had out there. It's called the Lear test. Please go check that out. It's got a lot of nice information for you guys to check out, and it's just it makes you think. Makes you think about ufology, man. Please check this out on YouTube. It's all over the place. Give us a thumbs up. Please share that. Also, don't forget to watch The Middle. It's still on Amazon Prime. I think we gained another channel. So we are 18 platforms. We are live on 6, and we are live on 5 countries already. So it's like every few months we get to jump on another country, so you guys can see it, because sometimes some countries can't see it and they have to see it on special channels, right? And these are the channels that you can watch it on right now. It's $2.99. Tubi has it for free, but if you're gonna go for the free thing, you're gonna grab all the commercials. You can't beat it. Give us a thumbs up on that one. We'd really appreciate that as well. Don't forget, everything here is because we're pushing towards the middle too, right? That's coming soon, all right? We're in editing. We're almost halfway on the first part of this. We're going to get that one done. You'll all be seeing the first episode before the other 2 come out, all right? Get ready for this. This is going to be amazing video documentary to watch, all right? Also, don't forget to follow us, ASTP, on Twitter. You can see it at the very bottom of your ticker, ASTPUFO.com. Go there, or you can do the sister page at alienstrand.com. Go check that out. All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get Mr. Terry Linch on today, all right? Because, it wouldn't be UAP Weekly without Mr. Terry Linch. Let's bring him on today. Here we go. There he is.
How are you doing tonight, Donald?
I am doing well. A little tired. It's been a long work week, and it's still hasn't stopped yet. But, I think we're going to go camping this weekend.
Oh, that sounds like a good
oh, yeah.
Remember to bring your drones, your cameras, and gear. And remember not to ignore your wife while you're doing any of this.
Oh, no, I know. I got to kind of sneak the camera in there and get a couple of shots, without nobody.
Show her how to fly the drone.
Exactly. She loves to film. We actually did a music video this past weekend, which was an amazing thing to do. We love doing content like that, music videos, everything like that, because it helps not only with us, but it helps people that are locally get their music out there on a video, man. I mean, how much better can you do it with somebody local, right? So
right.
And today we're going to talk about Les Productions, but let's go ahead and talk about UAP Weekly. What has been going on with you over there in Oregon so far?
Well, we've had a lot of forest fires going on lately. Not much on the sky. Today's the first day in a while that we've been able to get our skies kind of cleared up enough. If you've ever seen the cartoon The Simpsons,
right.
This falls for everybody. If you've seen those clouds that they show in the cartoon, which is odd that I say The Simpsons because there's so much stuff involved with that too. But when you've got those clouds that are like that's when you catch these things moving between clouds. So today we finally have that. The wind's extremely high outside right now, and when we finally did get a little bit of a break here to where I could do something, we decided we're going to do a podcast.
Right on.
But that's perfect. I'd rather do the podcast at the moment. I already know that they're up there. So it's just a matter of getting disclosure out to the people. Tonight, we're going to have a lot of people that are ASDP representatives that are going to be asking questions and doing things tonight on the show.
Right.
Just a moment ago, it was shared a couple times. I'm trying to also keep in touch with other things that are going on at the same time, now
right.
that I have that capability. I'm able to see that we've got almost all of our ufologists are paying attention tonight to the show tonight. We've had some incredible things happen in the past week. Looking forward, I'm really looking forward to tonight's show because we're going to be talking about a lot of it. I'm really grateful that all those scientists and guys that work over at Skinwalker Ranch finally got to see what we've been talking about for the last 4 years.
No.
Yeah.
You don't say.
It turns out that if you listen to the ufologists that are out there that are constantly doing it,
yeah,
instead of just a regular show, it turns out that a citizen ufologist might have some answers for you. I think they kind of stumbled into it. I'm not exactly sure yet exactly what they did, but it does look like they're using some of the same techniques we've been using, and I was taught a few years back. And once I started learning how to do this, then I started seeing how things progressed. Okay.
Exactly.
We'll get into that a little bit later in the show tonight.
Right on. Well, thank you everybody for chiming on board right now. I mean, we got Sue Harrison right now. She says, hi, Terry. She says, keep up the good work. We got David Aliff up there, and he's getting ready to get a storm, man. So you guys be careful out there. He's in South Carolina, but they got that hurricane that's heading their way right now. So you guys stay safe from there. And I'm glad you're watching the show tonight, but y'all be safe. Make sure you board up everything and bring the chickens in and the dogs and the cats and all that stuff. So, so nothing gets hurt out there. We always thinking about you guys, and we're glad that you're out there, as ASDP people and ufologists. And actually, David is part of the paranormal part of the ASTP program that we have, and he's doing a great job out there, as far as that. And they've been talking about a lot of paranormal things on our other group page that we have as well. So let's talk about something that happened here today, I believe, this morning. I posted a picture this morning, and I posted on ASTP Alien Strand Disclosure Project page, and it was of this alien. I'm going to zoom it out just a little bit more so everybody can see if they're watching tonight. So this was captured. It's this photo of being maybe an alien mantis insectoid captured in Connecticut on August 6, 2023. And they used a filter on on the image to kind of enhance it, bring more contrast out, and to show you that it's actually holding something in its hand. So it's kind of like a bright wand of some sort. I have seen many videos, well, not many, but there's a few out there where you see them actually walking around and they have some kind of light wand in their hand when they're walking in the forest, or when there was one, I don't remember if it was Australia or it was on somebody's porch, and they were screaming at it, and it had like a wand in its hand, and you could see something bright. So that's basically what I'm seeing here, in a sense. I wish they could have got a clear image, but hey, man, this is what we get. What do you think, Terry?
Well, to me, it kind of represents something pretty ancient out of India. If you notice the two lines that are there, and you see the fertility where those two lines are crossing the lower portion of its body, would make me think, this is just what I would think, is it represents like the Shiva Lingam. I don't know if you know what that is. It's a way that the people of India show respect to their god Shiva. And when they pour water over the top of this thing, what it does is it goes down the top of the lingam, and it goes down past what looks like the all-seeing eye of Shiva. And there's usually a dot. That's their dot. That's why they got the dot.
Okay.
This is it goes down the face of the Shiva Lingam, and it comes down, and it goes through various channels of where it creates like a wave, which would be the very first wave accelerator, not collider, but a wave accelerator, which is 5,000 years old. So this to me, that's what it looks kind of like to me, with of course an alien presence directly in front of it. So
wasn't there a story there in India of a some kind of a craft that was inside of a cave that they had found, and it was supposedly a time traveling kind of craft that they had found inside of one of the caves there in India? Have you heard that story?
I have not. I have not had a chance to. I'm actually going to research it now that you've said it.
Yeah.
But I have not heard about that in particular craft. What I can think of is they've had several different, like say the Taj Mahal. Okay, you have all of these figurines all over the completely around it. All the deities are completely around the Taj Mahal, and you see that on all these other temples that they have. And if you look straight down on the top of these things, which you'll see, literally, it looks like you're looking straight in it at the inner workings of CERN. Which
like three-dimensional?
Yes, it's very three-dimensional. When you're looking down on the top of any of the temples, you see these different things. But this particular thing that we're looking at right here, that to me, that looks a lot like what you'd see over in India, only you've got something a little more going on with what you've got here. It's actually quite impressive to see what's happened here.
I mean, I wish there was a video. That would have been awesome.
Almost looks like a living being to me.
It is. I mean, when you zoom in on the picture, if you go to Alien Strand Disclosure Project page, if you zoom in on the picture, you can actually make out the form of the extraterrestrial or whatever it is. You know, it's got a large head. I think somebody had reported a UFO, but remember, Connecticut is a hot spot for alien abductions, and guess who lives there around that area? Or close to it. So Whitley Strieber is pretty close to that area. And then, and one of our ASDP ufologists, Marisol, she lived right there in that area. So she always said, she talked about alien abductions as well. So, you know, I believe it's a hot spot around that area.
I have to agree. If you remember, I had done an article on what I call the exit of the equator, and it runs right up through the Connecticut area. Right. So that makes total sense to me that they would be going through that location because their craft would be slowing down as it splits up and starts heading towards, you go south towards Machu Picchu, and it starts heading towards Pumapunka and all of that in the south. But in the north, it crosses right over, oddly enough, Skinwalker Ranch, and then it goes right on in over Dinosaur National Monument in Utah, and then it starts cutting up. It does a V, and what's happening is they're getting to the slower portions of Earth rotation. So this is how they're slowing their craft down, and once they hit these points, that's where you start to see more craft. Now they can stop at any point and do whatever they're going to do, but what they're doing is they're splitting off. And they're using this, they're running off the equator and they're just splitting off, and they start way out over the ocean. I guess they could go anywhere they want and come in, but I found a location out over the ocean where the island chain, it was called, Hava Nui's Easter Island, Rapa Nui is Easter Island. I can't think of the name of it. It doesn't really matter.
That happens to you all the time.
There's a lot of islands out there.
I know.
Anyway, it's an island chain out there, and it looks just like the Pleiades.
Right.
If you look at how this island chain is, it does the hook and everything.
Right.
And there's island for every one of the Pleiades.
So they've connected that. They've connected the pattern of that. Like if you flip them, it's upside down or whatever. Like a mirror image, right? Like the Sphinx. The pyramids of Giza, how they're kind of all together.
I would go as far as calling it the third tangent Dr. Einstein put out. That's just mirroring. And so I would call it the third tangent. And that would be what would allow you to have a mirror image of something. And when you put those mirrors together, you end up with different things that take place. For instance, we've got a friend in England His name is Barry Nichols, and he does this with English fog. And he does this. What he does is he takes this English fog and he puts it together, and all of a sudden you start seeing images of things that look very Mayan. I mean, we're talking about in England here, and he's seeing things that look very Mayan. And there was one time he put one together, and this, by the way, he walked himself into this. He didn't realize what he was doing when he did it, and I explained to him that it was called the third tangent.
Right.
So what ends up happening is he put this mirroring together, and he says, I don't understand why, but this looks like Dr. Einstein. And sure enough, it looked dead on to Dr. Einstein sitting there holding like a globe kind of thing. And it looked like there was some other deity or something behind him.
Yeah.
It's kind of spooky. But he also came down, he comes down onto objects with, he comes way in, zooms way in on this stuff with some of the cameras and lenses he has. And you can see in each one of the particles of the fog, each particle, okay? Not just the fog itself, but the particles of the fog. You can see what looks like different faces of different people in this fog. So to me, that says that this is probably purgatory. I don't know.
Well, which is, and I'm thinking, now that you're talking about it, I'm thinking that it's what do you call that? Quantum, that one you talk about.
Quantum entanglement.
Entanglement. That's what it is. Quantum entanglement. Because what they talked about quantum entanglement, all it is nothing but, photons and all the particles, everything tangled in together. So when you zoom in, you break everything down, right? And what you're talking about right now is it made the image of, Dr. Einstein, like he's sitting there, and you're talking about that it's a possibility that could be a different realm or whatever.
Dimensional, yes.
It's dimensional, yeah, and it's exactly, and it's connected. So when people say quantum entanglement, I used to think of the word, and I used to think, man, it's kind of for folks like me or other folks out there that don't understand, scientific terminology and things of how to picture quantum entanglement. And all that is just everything coming together as one, and it explodes, and but every particle that's in there is
every
part of that.
Has a negative.
That's
every
right.
Has a negative, and they meet at some point.
Right.
The fastest way to stop a photon is to observe the photon. The second you observe the photon, it stops. It ceases to do what it was doing, almost like it has its own intelligence, which we talked about on that slit test. There's two slits. You put them up. You run the light through. It comes out like a fountain or a facet, just like a crystal. But what it does, it throws it out and it puts up columns. The moment you start putting a camera onto it, it goes from columns back to two. Just
exactly.
That's exactly how it works. It knows it's being observed. So to me, that tells me that photons are an intelligent thing, just like the shooting star. We've been told our whole life that that's a star shooting, but just recently we've been told that we're going to see the very first supernova. Well, then what's a shooting star?
Right.
Okay. if a star is a soul, like our sun. Sol is the name of our sun, and Terra is the name of Earth. But Sol, if it took off shooting, which I believe we are actually on a shooting star. We're following our sun through on a big arm that's going across in the Milky Way. Okay, so that kind of makes us a shooting star. And what's happening is we're following that star, and all the planets it's like a funnel of water going down a tube,
like a vortex.
Yeah,
it's like a vortex. Yeah,
I'm sure that
it's just
huge.
There's
a black hole where Earth and the sun and all this stuff is just being right through it, and we're at that. That's us.
We don't even know it.
Yeah.
So talking about photons and quantum entanglement. Now I'm going to show you this because we're going to see if because. Photons are light and things that come in light and, in the sky, when we see sky, clouds, things of different forms. So let's check this out.
Oh, yeah.
Between aging and busy lifestyles, many women struggle with maintaining their physical and mental wellness. At Aqua Vida Concierge Healthcare Services for Women, we can help you revitalize your health and reclaim your life. We start from within by balancing your hormones, allowing your body to achieve and maintain desired weight goals. We also specialize in peptide therapies, regenerative medicine, sexual health, and aesthetics in our state-of-the-art facilities. Feel better, look better, live better at Aqua Vida. Visit aquavitality.com and begin your journey today.
How long was Neil Armstrong actually on the moon? When did Europe start speaking English? Did Marco Polo really go to China? CuriosityStream is the streaming service for all things history, plus science, wildlife, and more. What's the real story behind the Mona Lisa? We've got that. What caused the collapse of Rome? We know. Where did we find mankind's earliest ancestor? Come find out. For the holidays, give the gift of curiosity with 25% off gift cards for your curious cohorts. It's holiday shopping season at curiositystream.com/gift.
Lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
Look at that.
So that is a perfect saucer round shape up at the perfect time. It's probably at dawn, maybe, could be, or possibly early morning. But look at the way it looks. I mean, it's perfectly round.
Yeah, if you look at everything else it's contrasting with, you notice that it has a full radius, and that right there tells you that this is not normal. That's not something that is natural in the skyline. So right. This thing, it's got a radius to it, and kind of like you start looking towards things that are. You do the square, and then you have this. So that right there, that's not a natural occurrence. What's taking place here? This is something that had to be created by something.
Well, I mean, what do you call those clouds that do circles? Like rectangular clouds or something like that? The ones that look like UFOs in the sky, kind of, but they're puffy. Right. They're puffy, and this, if you can see, it looks like it's got a flat bottom. If you're looking at it, so it does not look puffy or like a cloud formation, anything like that.
That's
so
definition.
Exactly, and I don't see if it could be any kind of manipulated somehow or another, as far as like CGI. It does not look like it. It looks like it's just a natural shape that somebody happened to grab that morning or that evening.
Yeah, they did. Whoever this was on the ball when they got that. I mean, it happened so fast.
It did.
It's really weird when you're outside. From time to time, I'll catch things that are moving across the sky.
Right.
For instance, I was over at the pizza place getting some pizza. Okay, I was bringing it home to the family. I got my pizza. I take it out to the car. I look up over Paulina Peak, just so everybody knows. Paulina Peak is my main target. And the pizza place just happened to be below Paulina Peak. And I'm standing out in the parking lot, and all of a sudden I see a craft going by. Okay, it cuts right across. The thing's glowing like a bright orange. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking up in the sky at this thing as it's going by, and there's another guy standing beside me in his car. He's getting ready to go inside the pizza place. And he's going, "That didn't look like an airplane." And he goes, "Have you ever seen that before?" I said, "Well, my name's Terry Linch," and I go shake his hand. I tell him who I am. I said, let's keep our eye up there. Right. Three more went in the exact same line, right in between the clouds in the same spot. And he and I were both, neither one of us had a phone or camera or anything with us. I wasn't thinking twice about it, because sometimes I take a break from carrying a camera around, because I've always got it with me. I mean, it's like a nonstop thing for me. But
Well, Angela Ellison says, I have a recent one like that in the clouds with spacing between lights around that are exposed to the edge. So she's actually caught things like that, in the sky. And when we were talking about traveling earlier in space, David Aliff says truth. We are constantly traveling, it's just the things that we're seeing in the skies now are a lot more, they're more visual now than they've ever been before. Now, is it me, Terry, or when we were watching photos of the 1950s, 1960s photos, these crafts are about as big as my finger. I'm going as wide right now, right? Now, look at the size of this thing.
Yeah,
look at
miles wide.
Yeah, look at the size that we're seeing now. Because look at the trees, the clouds. I mean, that's way up above the clouds. Now, imagine if that thing was on the ground, it'd be huge, right?
Right. It's like, think about this. Like the Aurora Borealis itself is like 60 miles above the Earth when those particles are coming in. So it doesn't matter how high the airplanes fly in that area. They're never going to make it there. We only go like 6-7 miles up. Okay. So these things are 60 miles up, and it's coming in, and if you're in that location, you can actually hear what sounds almost electrical sounds going off in the background. I haven't had the privilege to go hear it myself because that's kind of far north to be able to be in the location where you have no noise, no light, but the Aurora Borealis. This, on the other hand, is not Aurora Borealis. That right there, that looked like a very stationary craft. They had the time to go grab a camera, and they had the time to photograph it, and it stayed put for them. What they found was something very stationary. There's something going on with this, whether it's just things that's being hidden while it's dropping things down and trying to do. It might be putting out orbs. It might be putting out small saucers. Until we actually have a diplomatic meeting with what's going on, we're not really going to know the full truth about this. However, I feel that citizens are sharing more truth than any government is, and it's time to start paying closer attention to the standard person like me and you or anybody on our team for sure. I have no problem, again, like I said, working with people like MUFON. I have no problem working with law enforcement, and we're all humans. We're all trying to come up with the same answers.
Right.
So
exactly.
When you see something like that, get it and send it to either Donald Ledesma or myself, or find us on ASDP. Was it ASDP.com?
Yeah, ASDP-UFO.com.
Thank you. That's where we need to send it to. And when you find these things and you report them to us, well, first off, we're not going to send all the news, and we're not going to call the police, and we're not that. This is humans being humans, reporting to somebody else. We actually understand what you're saying. We can, if it, in some cases, it freaks the hell out of people when they see this, and it changes everybody that sees it. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So get ready, report it, come see us. We'll hook you up with other people, and you can talk about this with other people. Not everything you say is going to be put out in a movie. Not everything you say is going to be on our show.
Right.
But what will happen is you're going to end up with a whole group of people that have seen the same thing that you've seen. They know how to see it on a regular basis. Most of us now, we know how to see these things. I can go outside and film one right now if I was to go outside.
And let's just call it what it is. It's disclosure. That's exactly what it is, because when you put it out there like that, you want the world to see it, and you're saying, okay, look, this is real, man. I saw this, or I spotted. And if you do this, and if you want to put it out there, please share it, man. Share it with groups. Share it with anybody you can. My pet peeve is there's a few groups out there that, they'll just keep it to themselves. And, that's fine and dandy. If you want to do that, go ahead, but, if you want to be a real disclosure group or place like that, I'm not putting anybody down, but man, please share it, man, because this is what it's about. as citizen ufologists, right? Because we're trying to get the information out and show people, okay, this is really happening. This is really happening out there. These things this is what people are going through every day. They're actually witnessing these things, or they're actually, coming face to face with extraterrestrials, and it ain't bullcrap. You know what I mean? So, and if you do have something like that, please share it. Don't feel bad. And don't, like Terry said, don't feel bad. We're not going to, shun you away. We're not going to do anything like that. We're going to welcome you with open arms and take your report. That's exactly what we're going to do if you want the report made. And just do that, and that would do so much for ufology. And you'll actually be actually helping us build what we're trying to do as ASDP ufologists, a global scale. Because what if whatever you saw, somebody saw it in Africa, or somebody saw it in Australia, or somebody saw that same thing? They have to, if you put it out there, just like Angela said, hey man, I saw something just almost like that, right? And I have it I filmed it. So this is what it's about. We're connecting all the dots together. So let's go ahead. I have one video today. I didn't bring out a bunch of videos, but today I'm going to show you this one video, and it's been out for maybe 2 years. I think I saw it about 2 years ago, but it popped up on my feed, and somebody actually did a nice little thing with it on their TikTok or whatever. And I wanted to share it with you guys because I want you to see how this craft reacts and how it changes its form. Okay. And this is not at night. This is going to be broad daylight. All right. So here we go.
Quaint town of Montreal, Italy. This occurrence, captured by an anonymous individual, has been a subject of fervent debate for nearly 2 decades, attracting the keen interest of ufologists, scientists, and curious individuals alike. The details of the event, as narrated by the unknown filmer, paint a picture of a surreal encounter. The protagonist of this story is an unidentified flying object, a disc of approximately 10 feet in diameter. The UFO, a spectacle in white, was seemingly outfitted with edges on its sides, an unusual feature that has puzzled experts ever since. The encounter began with the UFO hovering silently over a river, close to the ground. The solitude of the scene was broken only by the gentle lapping of the river water and the soft hum of the spinning disc. Its slow, deliberate rotation added an eerie ambience to the event. The unidentified man who captured this moment reported the UFO maintained its proximity for a few moments, flying eerily close to him. However, the climax of this encounter was yet to unfold. Without any warning, the UFO accelerated at a speed so astounding that it defies conventional understanding of physics. It accelerated to approximately 30,000 miles per hour in less than 2 seconds. The object vanished from sight, leaving the man and his camera staring into the void. This incident, colloquially referred to as the Montreal encounter, has since become a cornerstone in UFO research.
There's so much in that. There is so much in that.
Yeah.
If you remember correctly, I gave a estimated top speed of I like to call it 22 miles a second, which equals out to about 70,000 miles an hour. I also wrote a report called D1 Sharp. It's a hypothesis on the ancient people and how they would know that there was UFOs coming into the world or coming into their area. They would see a ripple in the water inside of a bowl. Now, the Ashkenazi, they built a lot of clay pottery bowls and things like that. So they would see this ripple, and it looks like a bullseye, okay? So if you look at D1 Sharp in a piano, off a piano, it will create that exact ripple that I'm talking about. You see that painted up on the walls. They all say it's a universe or galaxy or whatever. No, that's their phone number, man. They're telling you they're above you. And then the other part of this is you see, not only do you see the D1 Sharps, you see the massive speed there, but when that craft slowed down, what you saw different things popping up on the sides of it, and it's creating that same and everybody's heard me say this more than one occasion. You hear this little hum, and that hum is the D1 sharp. Okay. Still, we need to meet these things. We need to find a way to have some kind of diplomat that will be able to speak with them without starting a war. However, from what I just noticed on that touched on a lot of things I've talked about in the past, and a lot of things you've talked about in the past. What's your take on it?
Well, I mean, I've seen the original video, and what it does is it comes around and it comes close to him, and then it zooms back out, and it actually hovers there for a little bit before it takes off. But the narration, I guess to make that video, they had to do it short, right? So they probably cut the video down in half, because when it first comes in, it's just literally hovering and kind of going around him, and it gets real close to him. It backs off, and then it starts doing what it was doing, and then if you notice, when it was hovering in that, these little flaps came up, right? Mm-hmm. Like it was trying to stop itself from moving. Remember how when me and you talk about how the UFO craft, how something probably inside moves on some crafts, I'm not going to say all of them, on some crafts just to make them go in a different direction or whatever. Okay, so when you see the video, it's slowing down. You see these little flaps come up on the very top, and it looks biological. All right, this craft looks biological. I mean, because it looks like a UFO disc, and all of a sudden these little fins come up, and they're kind of squarish. They're not a straight line flap. They're kind of squarish, right? Mm-hmm. And then they disappear right back in, and then it moves over, and then it takes off, right? So it used those as a counterweight to kind of put itself right there at that slow stop, right, in that rotation, so that way it can once those flaps went down, if you notice in the video, it starts moving forward, and then boom, it takes off, right? And they're calculating at 300,000 miles per hour. I mean, it's a possibility if they probably calculated that with the film, and then how fast it moved from one frame to the next, in that speed. But I mean, it's maybe 2-3 years old, so it's not really that old.
Yeah, he had stated 30,000 miles an hour within 2 seconds is what he came to.
Was it 30? Okay, I thought he said 300.
It was 30,000. That's just a quick glance at what I'd seen. I was really trying to pay attention because it really coincided with a lot of stuff I was talking about. That right there, that's the kind of proof that we need to have for getting our calculations. Now, I've had other things that have come from being able to see this, because when you're filming things, if you take your camera, all right, and you turn up your shutter speed, okay, you bring your shutter speed up, it gives you a slow motion effect, okay? That's one of those things that's going to be the biggest tool that you can have. If you got just your cell phone, okay, and you're filming, you're videoing with just a cell phone, you're not going to be able to. Some cell phones, I think Apple will slow things down for you, but like my Samsung will not. Right. But what you do is you're looking up in the sky, and you might see a little white spot real quick, or you might see a black spot real quick, and it look like a bug or a bird. Okay, you bring that baby in to the exact spot that you saw it, because you're not going to see it very, very long. You got 10 frames per frame, I guess is what it is in the video. So what ends up happening is you're going to stop on that one spot that craft is at. You're going to stop it. You're going to pause your phone in that video, or your camera in that video, and then you're going to take a screenshot, and you're going to zoom in, and you're going to be completely amazed with what you find. You're going to find out that these things are 100% around us all the time. They always have been. Once you've done this, you can't unsee it, okay? You can't unsee this stuff. Now, you can get sometimes you'll see a glowing craft, like a fireball almost. I call them fire in the sky, but that's one of the most common around here that you see in the dark at nighttime. You won't see any of the other stuff at night. But during the daytime, that's where I do most of my work, is during the daytime. And believe me, I see this stuff at nighttime too. I'm out on 5 acres in Oregon here, so I just walk around at night if I want to go catch something.
So, so usually on a cell phone, right? Your cell phone, if you take a video, okay. This is like an iPhone 11. I'm still old school right now. It's new to me, but old to you guys. So one of these will actually do 1/3200 on shutter speed. And what that means is, when normal cinema cameras are going 24 frames per second, right? So you see my hand doing the shutter, it's got like a blur effect.
I don't know.
So right now these cameras are usually around 24 to 30 frames per second on your regular cameras on for video podcasting, right? So, but the good thing about a cell phone is you haven't noticed how clear it looks, how sharp it looks, and everything like that. Is when you're taking video, it's because of that 3200 speed, right? So usually when I'm filming a video or a movie, I'll do at 24 or 60 frames per second. That's it, right? Imagine at 3200, and that all that means is that you're gonna you can do one frame and you can split that frame as many times as you want, more than 10. I'm going to tell you that right now.
This is where I'm at.
and you'll catch that image, that speck or that UFO or whatever it is in your video footage, right? This is the good thing about cell phone cameras. Now, professional cameras, they will go up to 3200, but you might get something to go up to 12, and that's it. That's all you're going to get, 15 or whatever, because they have to sacrifice one thing for another, right? A better image quality, or we're going to give you speed, or what are we going to give you, right? 4K, 6K, 10K, I don't care what it is. The more K you go, the less qualities you're going to have. So cell phones right now are a really good game for videography or anything like that, or if you're shooting UFOs in the sky or UAPs. So just kind of remember that. I'm not saying do not get a professional camera. We do want you to get a professional camera because you're going to get a nice, clear image, a sharper image where you're going to be able to zoom in, because remember, a lot of phones, they're at JPEG, which is just going to be a standard image, right? That you can, and once you start blowing it up and zooming into it, it gets pixelated, right? So when you shoot a raw image, which is from a professional camera, it's called RAW, you can zoom into it, man, and zoom in, and it'll take a bit before it pixelates, right? So that's the good thing about having a professional camera or a cell phone. Just remember that. And that's what we're trying to do, and we try to teach at ASDP. Now, you got any more on that one footage?
I got one more thing I do want to say. I bet you know exactly what it is.
I do.
I am Nikon.
You are.
And I want to make sure Nikon knows that I'm Nikon, and I want to make sure everybody else out there knows Nikon is a good way to get out there, and you can go from anywhere from, like, I have a P500, a D3200. I have a bunch of Nikon film cameras. I'm shooting for the Nikon P1000. That right there will get to where I can see it's a 3000 millimeter super zoom. Nikon makes a good bridge camera that keeps you from having to go out and buy a whole bunch of different lenses to do this. They go, I have a P80 also. So I have a P80, I have a P500, I have a D3200. I've got an assortment of lenses for that. And when you get yourself the ability to be able to capture things, start off with wildlife or whatever's going on in the city you live in.
Yeah,
birds.
Yeah.
Practice. Learn how to use your camera. Don't just say, okay, I've got it and I'm ready to go no. You got to learn how to use your camera. Take pictures of bugs and leaves and find things that are a good, what they call it in photography is they call it your talent. You're looking for your talent. You want to find that talent, make that your subject. You find an anthill, go out and take pictures of that. Get the clear pictures that you can. Clearest picture. You're going to take 500 pictures before you got 5 really good ones.
That's right.
That's just the way it works.
So David, talking about the UFO that we just saw, he says, could it have been one of ours that we reverse engineered We've seen so many different types of sizes and shapes.
How long was Neil Armstrong actually on the moon? When did Europe start speaking English? Did Marco Polo really go to China? CuriosityStream is the streaming service for all things history, plus science, wildlife, and more. What's the real story behind the Mona Lisa? We've got that. What caused the collapse of Rome? We know. Where did we find mankind's earliest ancestor? Come find out. For the holidays, give the gift of curiosity with 25% off gift cards for your curious cohorts. It's holiday shopping season at curiositystream.com/gift.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
You know, I guess that's a possibility. That is a possibility because if you remember correctly, Dr., and I'm going to continue to call him Dr. Bob Lazar, came out and he let us all know. He told everybody about what's out there and what they actually have at S4. Okay. Right. So could it be one of ours? Sure. Is it one of ours? I don't know. Do you? I don't know. I mean, where are we in our technology at this point? I'm starting to see different films with fully loaded fighter jets and UFOs hanging right underneath the wing line of them as they're flying along. Like, I mean, these guys are buddies.
But look at this. Look at this. We just had India land a probe on the moon just this week, I believe, or it was last week. At the same time, Russia shot a probe up there as well. Theirs, unfortunately, crashed. It spun out of orbit, hit the side of the moon, and boom, theirs didn't make it. Now, these guys are just barely getting to the moon, right?
Right.
As far as technology. Okay, so we have these countries, and this is just my mind working, Terry. I'm not discrediting anything or anybody. I'm just saying that if they had the ability of reverse engineering and all that good stuff, I mean, Russia can't even make one to the moon yet without crashing it. I'm not putting them down, but it happened, right? Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of strategic planning and money and numbers and somebody who knows what they're doing, right? India, they got it. Hey, congratulations. I'm glad you guys.
I'm agree with that.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys made it. Heck yeah. You're just welcome to the moon, man. You know, but that's just my question is, these two countries, you know, they're barely making it to the moon. I'm sure China's been up there already. They landed one up there too.
We're on the dark side for quite some time, actually.
Okay, so we're still using bottle rockets, Terry.
Yeah, we're flying up on broomsticks. I know.
Bottle rockets, man.
Yeah. We need to figure out how to utilize the fact that the sun itself is throwing off all of this radiation. It's throwing off all this magnetic energy that you can reverse polarity of and push. Okay. Right. Every single system has a star in it. Okay. Every single system has that star, and every planet you can actually utilize to go around and slingshot right off their gravitational field and poof. And you can do this on every planet all the way to wherever you want to go. Now, on the other end of this is you have that big star there that's throwing off all that energy. And all that energy is it's more than just light. I mean, it's throwing photons at you, which we can grab the photons and put into a solar panel and create the electricity and energy we need to do several operational things on a craft, but it's also a giant freaking magnet. Okay,
right.
That's like the Earth itself. When you start creating a mass, what happens is this mass will attract things to it. Okay, that mass, if you're say here's the sun and here's the craft, and all of a sudden you reverse the polarity of the magnet, it's going to push. Okay, think about how fast a magnet flips. Think about how fast these crafts are moving. They're telling us how to do this. We have quantum levitation. We know that we know how to do this. We have bullet trains over in Europe that are operating on that exact thing. What they do is they lift up, they do quantum levitation, and they push. They're using a push. And how they slow down is they throw copper. Copper is an ancient tool. They take copper and they put it down there, and that's the braking system. They're not using wheels, they're not using anything, but they're using a levitation. These things are moving on what I call magnetic repulsion, not propulsion, but repulsion, which propels it to go a direction.
A different direction, right?
All these crafts are at kind of an angle, and they're moving. They're tilted, and they're moving. They're pushing. Dr. Lazar was trying to tell us that these things they're using a amplifier type situation where they got amplifiers under it, 3 cushion. Right. It's a 3 cushion, in fact. And what happens is the one in front's the lesser effect. So the thing's falling into its own path, and it's pushing off of repulsion. And that's how come these things move so fast. Take 2 magnets, put them together, they'll stick. Turn one around and stick it like to that and hold it together and let it go. And all of a sudden it flips just like that. I mean, instantly.
Well, and they're showing us, right? You're saying that the extraterrestrials or aliens or whatever they are showing us, okay, look, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay. So when we lost Phobos, the Russians lost Phobos, right? That was human error, right?
Correct.
By getting his keyboard, and he accidentally hit, I think, the 2 dots by accident. That threw the solar panels, threw the solar panels off, which they could not make any kind of connection or the radio signal, and they lost it and it took off, right? So of course, then we have the new one, the new Russian one. Human error, right? Here we go again. Human error. So I know that these extraterrestrials are advanced, and they probably, maybe at the very beginning, when this first started, they probably had a lot of their errors, and were able to figure out how to correct this. Are we ever going to be able to? I mean, really?
You mean Earthlings?
Yeah, I'm being the devil's advocate right now.
I'm going to be the devil's advocate too on this.
Yeah,
when you said that. Okay, so Earthlings. I'm going to go ahead and go with Earthlings. If you remember correctly, in the movie The Middle, as well as a few of the interviews that you've done with me, I have mentioned that these things are Earthlings. Okay, they live inside the Earth. They live in our skyline. We live in the middle. Okay,
right.
So these things, they're ancient. They go inside the Earth. They come out of the Earth. They go up into our skyline. We're like this. I hate to say it this way, but we're like the ant thing that people have inside their house, watching the ants build and try and do things. And we're like that. We've got all these different species that are here on our surface. We have a whole bunch of species that are in our oceans. We're still finding out new things about different ones because there's new ones.
Right.
Almost every day there's a new finding of some type of new creature we had not seen before. Okay. Whether it be a bug, a shark, a fish, a lizard.
What they say, they've only discovered maybe what we would call maybe a wine glass full of water. That's how much they've actually found in our oceans. In other words, it's compared to, in other words, because of the size of the ocean. That's why they're finding new things every day, and they've compared that to the universe. Right? We've only got a freaking fraction of what's out there, right? Of things that we don't even know about, and these extraterrestrials are just flying everywhere, right? And us as humans, we barely even touched the surface, barely. And that's what I'm so intrigued about.
Last couple of weeks, I've been showing things.
Go ahead.
This last couple of weeks, I've been showing microbiology things that if you take a look at the tip of your finger, where am I at? There's my camera. The tip of your finger or underneath your fingernail, there's so many bacteria and things.
It's gross.
I've actually made a few of our people go, "Oh God, really?" And they're overwashing their hands now because of stuff I've been sharing the last few weeks. But to something, we are the creator. To something, we are the greater being. Okay. I got a really big kick out of I forget what the name of the movie is, but they sneeze and they say, "Oh, bless you." When they say bless you, they're actually talking about like we just created something when you sneeze.
Oh.
I can't remember the name. I think it was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something like that. But that was actually a very accurate statement when they made that. Okay, because
scientifically, the particles,
every little bacterium, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's been a lot of cases where I've had video and footage that I've shared with you, and I've had it analyzed out in Australia with Chris Hamill, and I've had Annabelle Quiones. I've had him analyze it, but I've had things to where I've got this mountain face. I actually took you out to where we were at called the Hive, and we were trying to look through there, but then a damn forest fire lit up. And we couldn't see what I was trying to show you. This location, I had over 30 plus craft come out the side of a mountain face. Okay. And that tells me that these things live definitely inside the earth. And the reason we called the location the Hive is because these things live inside the earth. And from this location, you can clearly video it at any time, as long as it's not like a forest fire or fog or whatever gets in your way.
Before we get into that subject, because that's going to be a great subject, let's talk about this big guy real quick. Just real quick. So this picture came out, I know about a couple of years ago, I saw it, and they're saying it's like a albino Yeti. I grabbed it from one of the Bigfoot group sites, and I just wanted to share it because, well, I mean, if you look at the eyes, they're huge, huge black eyes, the nose, it's kind of weird because the nose and the mouth look almost a little humanish, but it's covered in complete fur. Complete. It almost has the look of, I don't know if it's real or not. What do you think, Terry?
Well, from what I've heard, Bigfoot's often mistaken for the abominable snowman, yet he doesn't mind. This right here is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm still looking because you know damn well, and so does the rest of the world, I live under the Cascadia Passage, and the location on that is Bigfoot country, 100% Bigfoot country. I live directly next door to something that is like this. I haven't seen one yet. I've heard stories about people in the area that have, and this right here, I think this would probably make me roll my tent up, load everything back up in the car.
Well, look at the picture.
Yeah,
and people in audio land, they can't see it, but if you're on YouTube or Facebook or anything like that, I mean, you could clearly see like somebody's moving a shade over, and they got a flashlight, or it's actually maybe the house security light hitting him right in the face. So, I don't know.
That looks very, very significant. The details in the face are very, very detailed. You can definitely tell he's got an elongated skull on the top of his head.
Wide, super wide.
Does not look like he's got a neck at all. I mean, it's. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. He's uptight. I would actually love to see something that shows the size difference in this to how big he is, because I hear these things are pretty damn big. Again, my cameras are fixed up in the sky, but I have a Jonathan Mitchell, and that gentleman is what's supposed to be watching for that. Okay.
Right.
He sees that. He's supposed to tell me so I can turn my cameras the other way. He's also supposed to help defend me from that.
And I don't think bullets or anything's going to hurt this thing. From my understanding, these things are massive. I mean, they can pretty much throw 3-4 inch tree trunk at you, pull it out of the ground and chunk it at you, and you're history. So I would not really mess around with one of these things. If you saw it, I would just kind of turn around, be calm, walk away. Don't do the bear thing and just kind of lay there. I don't know what I would do if I saw something like this. It's like, what do you do? Do you grab your weapon? Do you shoot in the air? Do you kind of say, hey, get out of here? Whatever. When this thing's, huge, it could be 8, 10 foot, tall. I hear these things are huge. Imagine something. I mean, I'm 5'9". If this thing it was 10 foot tall standing in front of me, it'd be twice my size in height.
The reports around here put them at about 17 foot tall.
Around in Oregon?
Yeah. And people off in the distance, they'll see a tree, like not a ponderosa, but like the large poles that we have around here, which are 10 to 12 inches around. And they'll see these trees shaking around, and all of a sudden you'll see the tree move. And you're like, what was that? What made the tree do that? Okay. I see that David Alof,
the one we saw, I guess he saw one. I guess he saw one just like this. So, I mean, if he saw one face to face or close to it, this is, it's possibly.
Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from anybody who says they've seen a Bigfoot. I do want to correct something. I keep seeing on the different Bigfoot sites, because I'm a member on a few of them and I share a bunch of our material there.
Right.
I keep seeing people show something that as literally it's too small for it to be a structure for them to live in. What I'm seeing is an old wiki up. I'm seeing what the Native Americans would have built for a quick hunting structure or someplace where they could lay down for the night.
Right.
Maybe 5-6 people go out and they grab as many long branches as they can, or trees as they can that are small, and then turn it into what's called a wiki up. And then they go inside. And I keep seeing people saying, this is a Bigfoot structure. It's not big enough for them. It's just not big enough for them.
Yeah, actually my niece, they live in Pecos, New Mexico, and they were up actually in Santa Fe, up on top of the ski resort area, the Santa Fe mountain, and they took a picture of something that looked like wooden sticks all together, and it was pretty massive. They walked inside of it, but it looked like you said, it had like a 17-foot or 20-foot entrance. This thing was huge. Yeah, because they stood inside and they're like, 5 foot, whatever. And it was like tall. I was like, wow, whatever you're standing inside of was huge. And I think the Santa Fe, New Mexico, the area out there, I think they tore those down because they thought that it was kids, or they didn't want somebody to start a fire with it, because what does it look like? How do you start a fire?
Around the tree. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how we start fires. Yeah, like a kindling. This is how you start fires. In I don't care what fire, even in a barbecue pit. You use that triangular shape in order to get it going. But
I want to let people know, if you see one of those up here in the Central Oregon area, and it's put together like that, you see tarps and stuff around it, don't tear that down. That's for me and my crew. we actually build these. So I live next to Paulina Peak. Chief Paulina, he was a Northern Paiute. They call them dog soldiers. That's what they called these guys. And we learned something. I actually live right next to a place called Wikiup, literally. Down the street's a place called Wikiup Junction. You and I bought sodas and beer and things like that there. Anyway, Chief Paulina, he used to run the whole top of the Paulina Peak area, no U.S. soldiers, none of that stuff. And down here in the area of Lapine, we had several Wikiups that are all around this area that are ancient. It's a couple hundred. When I say ancient, I'm talking a couple hundred years to back. Okay.
Right.
So these structures are kind of around this area. So if you do see them around here, don't tear them down. If they're going to burn down, it'll be a forest fire that did it. But that's part of our history. before you go and try and tear something like that down, look around. You're going to find arrowheads. You're going to find all kinds of things. This is how these ancient people lived. They would move from spot to spot. They would hunt. They would get their furs. They would get their skins. They would get their meat. You find these wickiups closer to water, just like the Azenazi would. They'd put their stone structures up in the cliff sides, but they always had access to water and things, vegetation and things like that. Oh, here we go.
And let's talk about that. Ancient structures, what we talked about before, the Easter Island, Peru, Guatemala, how all these structures, they all have that same kind of like elongated neck, the long head. They almost look, there's a lot of similarities, to the structures and the builds, right? And why, and my thing is, I know these are ancient and these were done thousands of years ago. Why? That's my thing.
Well,
why?
You just happen to on two of these right here. You've got the top one from Peru. Those are called the Moai. All right, those are on Easter Island, the Moai, and then you go down to the next one down, and you'll notice that there's you'll see 5 statues right there, and then you see 2 skulls on the top. If you notice, you see the 2 giant skulls on top.
Yep.
Okay, those are giant skulls. They are not regular skulls. Those are giant skulls. These people were also giant red. These were giant redheads. Okay. The people that in Peru, they were called the cloud people, the ones that you're showing here, and the ones just above, where they've got the Moai there that are on Easter Island, that's Rapa Nui is the name of the island. They were also known as giant redheads. The problem with these folks is they were also cannibals. When Captain Cook went to Easter Island, he called it Easter Island because he found it on Easter Day. On Rapa Nui, it turned out that they weren't real receptive to having people come visit them. They soon after Cook showed up there, they found a way to get away or had to leave because they had already used all the resources on the island.
Let me give you the backline on the one in Guatemala. Okay. Let me read you the backline on that one. So the story on that one says, half a century ago, a giant stone head was discovered deep in the jungles of Guatemala. The face turned into the sky had large eyes, thin lips, large nose. What is unusual in that it's a Caucasian type of face that doesn't correspond to any of the pre-Hispanic races in America, right? They discovered quickly an attraction to the attention. It says, but just as quickly as it disappeared from the pages of history for the first time, a mysterious stone head was reported by Oscar Rafael Padilla Lara. He's a PhD lawyer and a notary. He says, who received a photo of this head in 1987. Okay. It says the photo was taken in 1950s by the owner of the site, which the monolith was located somewhere in the jungles of Guatemala. It says a small article with the photo was published with a bulletin. It says Ancient Heavens. It said it was read by the famous researcher and writer David Hatcher Childless. He found Dr. Padilla, who said that he had found the owners of the site where the stone head was located. This is the Binier family, he says. The monolith is located 10 kilometers from the small village of La Democracia in the south of Guatemala. So this is where the story of that head, of that large head next to that pickup truck there, or that car there on the right side.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper? A woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver. I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
David's Bridal, where brides and bridesmaids get fabulously dressed. We let our friends pick out what we wear, show off our dance moves, obsess over every little detail, hold your hand through it all, smile bravely when it's time to let go. Make your dreams come true. The things we do for love. Only at David's Bridal.
And if you notice, it's covered by foliage, right?
Yeah.
So they dug it out, and it looks like it had been sitting there for a while.
Yeah. Now, see, again, this is what I've been saying. You have all these different races of giant redheads. Okay, they're white. They're giant. They got red hair. I believe most of them had a couple rows of teeth, and they were cannibals. Most of the natives, like the Lakota Sioux, the Northern Paiute, there was, I might be wrong on Lakota Sioux, but the Northern Paiute were definitely part of this. They came into Idaho, and they lit fires in the end of a cave that these things were coming from, and they sealed that cave off and killed them all off as much as they could. They actually have like a mummified version of one of them standing next to a couple of guys from, I think it was in the 1920s, is when they uncovered one of the bodies of a mummified body of one of these things. The other thing I wanted to add is I got to make two corrections. One was Kandahar, which that was the location where they had the Kandahar giant, right. And that was in Afghanistan, not Pakistan. That was our last show.
Yeah, I think I said it was Afghanistan.
Yeah, it was in Afghanistan, and he was a giant redhead, 2 rows of teeth, the whole 9 yards. He took out what was a whole unit, an army unit, and then up come a bunch of special forces guys to try and figure out what happened to that unit. Right. And it managed to kill one more guy, but it was a special forces guy this time. He threw a spear, it went out to retrieve its spear, and they unloaded on it. And then, of course, it disappeared with that unit. The unit, they loaded it up on whatever. Right. I don't know if it was a helicopter or what, but they took off with it.
The rest of the story on that Guatemalan head was, he said that it says that Dr. Padilla went back out there later on to try to re-find it again, and found out that it was mostly destroyed by rebels. So they ended up, he said most of the nose was gone, the eyes were gone. So I guess they were just shooting at it and stuff. So he wasn't able to, this is the only picture that has ever been found of this. Unfortunately, it was destroyed by, military rebels back in the day.
They're trying to cover up the history is what's happening there, is they're trying to hide the history.
Yeah, and it just resurfaced. It said it resurfaced later on in a film called Mayan Revelations about in 2012. It says, and beyond. That was the name of the film that it resurfaced on. So, that was a piece of history that we're never going to know about.
I don't know if you'd ever noticed this or not, but if you look at a lot of the Egyptian stuff and a lot of, I'm talking about statues.
Right.
You'll notice the nose is missing off most of it.
Right.
Okay, well, that's because everybody was trying to smite the other one's god.
Exactly.
And that's all that is you'll notice the nose is, they'll leave the face there, but they'll take the nose off. And that's to smite the god that they're talking about. It was a big deal back in that time frame where they would roll a giant statue out at the edge of the battlefield, and then they'd roll another statue out at the edge of the battlefield of this god and this god, and then all these people would fight for these statues. And then when they do that, at the end of it, they'd take the other side's statue and they'd break the nose off it, and that meant they won something.
That's what happened at the Sphinx.
Yeah,
it was
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they took the face off of the Sphinx. Yeah. So before we close out, let's get to the main heart of what we're going to talk about today. We got to touch on a lot of good things today. Believe me, this was a great show, and we're still going. But let's go ahead and talk about this before we close out, okay? And
absolutely.
Skinwalker found what? What did they find?
They found something that we've been talking about for 4 years.
Don't get me wrong. I love the show. I sit there and I've watched, I think up to maybe season 5 or something. I stopped there because everything that they were seeing and stuff, I was like, wait a minute. We've already been doing this. Right. This was my thought, my personal thoughts. And I'm sitting there watching. I was like, okay, yeah, I know where that's coming from. I know where that's at. And this is where they're going to find it. They're going to see it here. They're going to see it here. So on this new episode that's going to be coming out, it's a great show. Don't get me wrong. I'm not down in it, but they're going to see this UFO fly out of this mountain, off the side of the mountain, just appeared out of the mountain, and it came out straight out of the mountain, right?
They did.
When I saw that, first person I thought of, I was like, oh my God, Terry Linch has to see this, right? So I tagged you on it, and lo and behold, you saw it, and it was like, yeah, we've been telling you this for 4 years.
Yeah, I've got footage of this. Actually, there's other people out there. There's Animal Quiones, there's Tino Gallegos. These guys have been filming this stuff for years before Skinwalker Ranch ever saw it. I'm grateful that somebody is publicized and that they've actually got some good scientists, and they've got great footage. They own helicopters, they got drones, they got all the equipment that we're dying to get. Okay.
Right. And they're breaking it down into science. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
They're doing a good job. They are doing a good job.
They're crunching it in numbers and waves and visuals and things where, they can calculate, everything's all calculations and all mathematical, right? And that's basically what Skinwalker Ranch is. They're trying to tell you in a scientific way, okay, whatever I'm seeing right now that just flew out of that mountain, it's real.
It's very real.
You know what I mean?
Some time to spend. At some point, I want to have a little collusion between ASDP and the Skinwalker Ranch folks. I want to talk with their physicists there. Him and I have got a lot to communicate about. I believe it or not, I like the work I see with Giorgio Tsoukalos as well. But every one of these people, they're all kind of tied together. That's the one thing that you see on all of these ancient paintings is everything has to touch hands, or they have to touch. Once you start getting everything to touch, the information is going to come out. And exactly. That's where we're at. We're at the point where we're reaching out, and we're going to see if they take our hand. Okay.
Right.
That's where we're at.
Right.
Let's see what they've got.
Yeah. I mean, let's just see what they got. And then if they have the same hypothesis that we do, as far as the D1 sharp, right? And then how these crabs are working, how they're coming out of the mountain, what did you call it? The Rosen Bridge, right? They're going in and out of the mountain. Are they going to say it's the Rosen Bridge in the show? I don't know. They might not. I mean, we're not. They're not.
Dr. Einstein and Dr. Nathaniel Rosen's the one that came up with this long before any of us.
Right.
So.
I mean, and I hope they figure it out. I mean, of course, we are not scientists or anything like that. We didn't go to school and get bachelor's degrees and on any of this, right? This was all self-taught. Everything that we're doing as far as citizen ufologists, remember that, citizen ufologists, we're able to not only catch these crafts and break them down in our videos and our photos and our analysis, video analysis, our spectrums, everything that we're doing, that we've been doing for 4 to 5 years, and putting it all together to where we finally get the final outcome hypothesis, right? We get the final outcome of it, right? And that's what we're doing. We're already there, right? Where they're at, what they just figured out, but we were already there. We've been there already. So, and we're still moving forward. Now, can we use their information to kind of get more of a better hypothesis? Yes, absolutely. Can they use our stuff to get maybe a sense of what? Maybe we can't do it in a spectrum because we don't have the great tools that they have, but they can actually calculate it and say, you know what, this guy said it this way. Let's try this different calculation, and we might just figure out how these things are busting through the Rosen Bridge, or how it's making a Rosen Bridge, or how it's coming in and out of the mountain, or what's inside that mountain. You know what I mean? Not just a wormhole, but can we go in there?
Right.
Without getting sick. There was an episode where they went in there. There was a little like an opening where they tried to go in there and it was full of radiation. They were getting sick. So, I mean, what does that tell you?
That tells me that whatever's in there has a different makeup than we do.
Exactly.
Their molecules are different. They're able to do things that we can't do with the ability. Honestly, I think that the Rosen Bridge can be activated at you're going to love this, a 45-degree angle and massive speed. So,
possibility.
Some things, some of these craft are going in and out slower than what I'm trying to say, but I firmly believe that if you're moving at that what we like to say was one frame out of 10, and you're moving at that speed where you can only see that craft for that speed, that's most likely that's a speed. And I also, earlier you had said something about counter steering. I 100% agree. These crafts all move on counter steering. They accelerate, they decelerate, they go into what's called quantum lock. That's what stops them, which I said with copper, you can come to a complete stop, no brakes, that's it. You put this copper shield down and bam, you can stop. You use the magnetic repulsion to get up to top speeds. And I believe also that if you go at a 45-degree angle, which is basically what the craft's pushing at, but you go into the earth, then you're going to, at the correct speed, whatever that is, you're going to find out that you can go in.
And where do we teach this at? We teach this at Alien Strand Disclosure Project, right?
Do. Pretty soon, I'm gonna be writing up a academia for this. We're going to. It's not just going to be me. It's going to be quite a few people. We're going to take all these different techniques, and we're going to turn this into a school for other people to learn exactly how to do exactly what we've learned to do. But we're going to take, like, from Australia, from India, from England, from New Zealand, Mexico, all these different experiences on how to film and become a ufologist. We're going to turn this into an academia. And I honestly, the rest of the world it doesn't really matter what their thoughts are on that. But in the world of ufology, that's going to be a striving force that people want to come see us to learn how to do this stuff. These are shows. This guy is Skinwalker Ranch. That's a television show. They're not teaching you how to do it. They're showing you a show. Okay. We are all about teaching a citizen to become a ufologist. And at some point we will have an academia. And when we do, it'll be very basic, very simple to follow. And when you do the things that we tell you to do, from the different locations around the world and the different techniques that different people have, this is going to be something that opens every eye on the planet. Okay.
Done.
I'm looking forward to doing this, and at some point we're going to put it to video, and then we'll put it out there for people to be able to get their hands on. That's my main goal here. Is disclosure for the world.
Heck yeah.
We don't respect government.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed today's show of UAP Weekly number 4. All right. So this is what we did this week, and we'll probably see you next week, after we do another one. So and we'll talk about different things as well. We'll show the videos of the week and everything that comes up with UAP Weekly. If you guys enjoy the show, please share our YouTube channel, share this on Facebook, or just share the audio, because this is on audio as well on 27 platforms. You can even ask Alexa. All right. Well, thank you, Terry, for being on the show today, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, brother?
All right. And remember, everybody, disclosure starts with your story and respect.
Heck yeah, exactly. We'll talk to you in a bit. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Like I said, you can follow us. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. If you want to give us some stars, give us some stars. That will help get more content out as well. All right? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. We went a little long today, but it's okay. There was a lot of information we had to catch up to. So, hey, man, there was 2 weeks we had to catch up to, right? But we did it all for you guys, and we did it all for disclosure, because we know that you guys are out there watching the skies. I always say keep your eyes up in the skies, because you never know what you're going to get. All right. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. Have yourselves a good night.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.